Just trying to swing at the strikes, take the balls. You know how it is. So it's just trying to see the ball early and often, and then just can control what I control, take it pitch by pitch, and enjoy the moment.
It's knowing the situation. It's getting a pitch you can do something with. It's understanding that you don't have to do too much, and both he and Massey, big at-bats there. Nice play by Hampson, too. First time at first base this year. These guys are getting together as a team early on.
Going into it, we basically had 0 of the tiebreakers. Butler had to lose 3 out of 4, and we had to win all 4 in order to host. If we play well, I think that we can make a run in this thing, and we can beat anybody. If we go in there and we don't play well, it's not going to be pretty, but we also have a chance to make a pretty deep run in this thing.
I don't know what to say. It's it's a journey, it's a process, it's a whole collective effort that put me in front of medical staff behind me, family, of course.
They're missing their second best player, who's physically present, but has a calf injury that has really hampered him. And it's a really bad combination because you can fight through that calf injury if you're playing a team like the Lakers, but they're facing the best defense that I have seen in the NBA, maybe back to the 2004 Detroit Pistons.
The Chiefs player who has been dating Taylor Swift since last summer isn't fighting the alchemy after her new album seemingly references their sweet romance. A source telling E! News, Travis is so supportive of the entire album and loves that he is a part of Taylor's story, adding he is very proud of her.
Brunson left wing, guarded by Nembhard. Right-handed dribble. Crosses over a couple of times. Pulls up, straight on three-pointer. Knocks it down!
And good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day, entertainment news, whatever else we've got for you on the program. It is the Thursday show. Steve Webster with you from the Mayo Money Management Studios this afternoon, getting ready for the program along with Mike Corson, Aaron Clark, and Mike Hesher. On the show today, it's Leftovers Day. It's
delicious.
Delicious, yeah. Leftovers are delicious. I think we'll talk to Gurr, Jared Walbrock, have some updates with, man, we're getting down. When's regionals? Next week?
Yes, league meets today, regionals next week.
Okay. And then a lot of sports headlines to talk about today. And fun and mayhem. So let's get started. Sounds of the past 24 hours or so. Call on KVGB last night. Bobby Witt Jr., a solo home run. That gave the Royals a 4-2 lead over the Brewers in the bottom of the 8th inning. Kansas City goes on to win 6-4. And the Brewers open first with back-to-back doubles, but the Royals coming back and getting the win. Witt talking about his homestand. Saw him do a lot of good things, including walk 7 times, and he didn't strike out once during the homestand. So pretty good for Bobby Witt Jr. Matt Quatrero likes where his team is at right now as they improved to 22-16 on the season. They'll head to Anaheim to take on the Angels for a 4-game series. Coverage of Game 1 tonight. It's a late-night trip now, so 8 o'clock for the Royals tonight on KVGB Radio.
Yeah, Bobby's been hitting at a pretty good clip still, but no power. I think that was the first home run in about a month. 3 weeks probably.
You could say Bobby Witt didn't put up a K at the K.
Zing.
You can say that, and that would be accurate.
So the almost hero in yesterday's game, A.J. Melendez in left field, another throw to the plate. It was a little offline. Freddie Fermin got to tag, saved the tying run at the moment, and then, of course, the Royals scored a few. But then those runs were handy because I'm still not all in on this bullpen. They blew it the other day, and it was close yesterday. MacArthur had to come in as the secondary guy and shut things down. But he blew it the game before, I think.
But he was more comfortable in the secondary role?
He had to get 2 outs, and I think he got a strikeout and maybe a weak grounder. It looked good, but...
Okay, well, let's go to the defender of the Royals bullpen.
Our resident Royals
bullpen insider,
enthusiast,
Mike Hesher.
Where do you want me to start?
Wherever you want to start,
okay.
Mike. That's
I will
say you're the insider.
Okay. Man. They all talked about this 19-game stretch, right? Because they were playing good teams. They finished 10-9 against the stretch, so you can't argue that one. Mm-hmm. You know, James MacArthur, they're all young. And, well, not all of them, but MacArthur came in, got 2 outs on 3 pitches yesterday. I'm not defending him. I think they probably need to go more bullpen by committee because, as people have talked about, Will Smith has pitched 5 outings last time. With last 5 outings, I don't think he's given up a run. So I think he's just gonna have to miss and match. How's he miss and
Mix and match.
Thank you, mix and match.
Mix and match. Mix and match. Mix and match. Mix and match. Say that fast.
So the Royals built this formula of heavy back end guys. It worked for 2 years, got him a World Series title. They completely went away with it to save money. I say go get my boy. What's his name from New York? Clay. The big closer for the Yankees.
They're gonna let Holmes go, right? He's like leading the.
There's a
majors
few of
in
those guys
sage
out
right
there,
now.
but you got to pay for them. And the Royals have been unwilling to do that. And now we're seeing, hey, the offense is putting you in a position to win. I would hope.
Yeah, but they've done.
They have like
they've done
three players hitting. If he didn't bunch those together, they would be doing nothing. You talk about MJ Melendez, he's hitting 175. They're talking about sending him down.
Don't do that.
Why not? He's hitting 175.
I need John Sherman.
He saved the game yesterday. According
You
to Mike
got you got Drew Waters in the minor leagues. He's hitting 335. Give that young man a chance.
Triple A
man, he's
pitching.
an old man.
I don't even know who this Hampson guy is.
Garrett Hampson? Oh, man, he was a popular guy in fantasy baseball circles because he was eligible at many different positions.
Well, he played for the Rockies, and when I was out there,
and he was one of their top prospects coming up.
Yeah, but he didn't really pan out either. So
John Sherman, get off my Facebook account at midnight and get me some players.
I'll tell you what Kansas City's a player with a signature barbecue sauce. That's what's missing from this roster. We need to get more of that around.
Well,
Bring the
I will
rest
tell
back.
you the entire commercial then. I mean, that was a good lead-in. It was like,
except
that's
when
my boy Billy Butler. What you guys doing? Playing cards?
I think when that
his
sauce
favorite
was
line
going-
on the old Team Wrangler bus in the days.
I think those were the lean old days when that sauce was going around. 2012ish.
I was a little off on my timeline then, maybe.
Is there an expiration date on that bottle of sauce?
I do believe
I
it
think
was
we
12
found
or
it
13.
before. Because there's no way we haven't looked into this. I would have wanted to tried some before, but I think it has expired.
Not if the lid's never been. That stuff's good forever.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to try some. 'Cause
2060.
I'm not finding an expiration date, and the only way to find out is see how sick you get after you try it.
Billy Butler's barbecue sauce. Royals in action tonight against the Angels. Hesh, you said bullpen's young.
well, I was thinking of MacArthur. I'm sorry on that one.
Because most of the time you will see relief pitcher. I mean, your best ones are going to be like 30, 31, 32.
Well, they got Carlos Hernandez, who played for the Royals and has been injured. He's doing pretty well down low. They got some minor leaguers that are performing, but at this point, they're not wanting to bring them up because I guess they're winning.
I was watching Craig Kimbrell when I was like 6. He's still going.
That costs money, and John Sherman not going to spend money. Well, how much did he spend over the offseason?
Well, how much did Bobby Witt Jr. cost?
Well, exactly. Don't tell me he hadn't been spending money.
Okay, all right. Chris Bubich pitched last night.
He's coming back, yes.
First time he'd start. That was his first start since undergoing Tommy John surgery. So if you get Lynch, you build a little bit of depth there.
Which would be good for trades.
Did they put the fires out yet with all the explosions that went off last time Walker pitched? Maybe they'll.
And, everybody's going to have a bad outing.
Yeah, they are.
But my deal is, like Hesh said, the offense isn't going to put you in a position to win heavily every day, so you got to protect those situations where you actually get a lead. And
they did that yesterday without Salvi,
Which, by the way,
even though he's been slumping,
he started every game this year, and then not yesterday, and I didn't get my backup catcher in. And
well, I'm sorry on that one.
Logan O'Hoppe had 4 hits last night, so bad for me. Okay, the Royals tied with Minnesota 2.5 games behind Cleveland, and then Detroit is 19-18. So 4 of the 5 teams in the American League Central are over 500. Then you have the White Sox, who are 9-28, which you think is bad. You know who they're better than?
The Rockies.
The Rockies, yeah, who are 8-28 right now. Okay, Barton baseball gets going today. They're in Fort Scott to take on the Greyhounds. I'm sure Fort Scott's good, but and they finished 5th in the East, which is good. I mean, the Jayhawk East in Region 6 has been good. I mean, they have the number 2 ranked team in the country in Johnson County. So, but I just feel good. I think they're gonna go ahead and win this thing and get on to Wichita for the 8-team tournament. We'll see.
Coach,
Brent Biggs talking about it. So, we, of course, I like that. Say, if we play well, we can go in there and make a deep run. If we don't play well, it's going to be ugly.
If we score more runs than them, we'll win. But if we don't,
and it's hard to tell if Coach Biggs is just saying it because he's on the road this year, but he was saying just this kind of feels like the year there could be some upsets. A lot of times in this opening round, he says it's just the top seeds winning and moving on. But this year, it's been kind of a weird ride in the Jayhawk, and it's going to be fun to see if the Cougars can't punch their ticket to X Stadium.
Yeah, Johnson County, the class of the East, and really Hutchinson really got on a roll. They were the class of the West, so those would be your two favorites, obviously, going in. See what happens. You want to get to the 8-team tournament and see what you can do. All right, NBA chat here today. Nikola Jokic.
Joker.
The Joker. Let's see. Took home his third MVP player award. I thought it was Vladimir Putin accepting his 5th term as president.
Similar vibes.
98% of the vote.
Putin's probably more enthusiastic about being president of Russia than Jokic is about playing in the NBA.
They've got a 2-0 series deficit to make up against the Timberwolves when they meet tomorrow in Minnesota. And Zach Bide, you ever listen to this guy?
Out of Denver?
Yeah.
I didn't like him, but
104.3 The Fan. Talking about why the Nuggets are down 0-2. One is Jamal Murray isn't healthy. Playing with a calf injury. He said you can get away with that against the Lakers, but not against the lockdown Timberwolves.
The Timberwolves, just the defense he was talking about is incredible. Jaden McDaniels, not a big factor on the offensive end, but still has, I think, a plus 50 in the playoffs right now just because of his defensive ability. Anthony Edwards has been a lot of talk about his scoring, and he's definitely the offensive engine for the Timberwolves. He's no slouch on defense either, and then when you finally do get past him, you got 4-time Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert down there with either Karl Anthony Towns or Naz Reid, also making it hard to get by them. And they're playing a tough brand of defense and just making it hard to really get anything going for a Denver team that doesn't have the peak of their point guard being able to run right now.
Is Denver done?
It's going to be tough. They've got to go on the road and win at least one. Oh, ideally, they can get 2. Minnesota took 2 there in Ball Arena in Denver. They've got a 2-0 lead with home court advantage. Minnesota's got to be feeling good, but I still would hesitate to say that the Nuggets don't have a chance just because it feels like any night Jokic can kind of go off and have a triple-double night where he drops 30-something points, 15 rebounds with 12 assists. And if he can do that, they can probably still win, but Minnesota's a good team, just top to down, or top from the top down. The defense is incredible. You heard the Bade talking about how might be the best defense they've seen since 2004 Detroit Bad Boy days, and the offense doesn't slouch either. A lot of times those high defensive teams don't have much going on offense, but when you have a young player like Anthony Edwards garnering comparisons to Michael Jordan, and not undeservedly so, they're a lot of fun to watch right now.
Okay. Haley Santa Florentina, the E-News reporter, talking about Travis Kelce's unending support for Taylor Swift and her new album.
I thought that was AI speaking. I was like, she delivers her newscast with the same enthusiasm that I deliver mine. I thought it was one of those bots talking.
It's just the love story that just keeps on giving.
I tell you, I've heard it on the radio. I bought the album. It's still wrapped on my kitchen table. Haven't had a chance to listen to it, but from the
So
cuts,
you got the wax? I mean, you've got a record player?
no, the CD.
Oh, okay.
Old school. Yeah, now I got to say
old
old
school
school
with a CD. Are you serious?
They brought back albums and digital.
Okay.
But from the cuts I've heard on the radio, I think Travis is being generous, which is what a boyfriend should do.
Well, I mean, the guy's just, I mean, he's bigger than Taylor is now. Let's see, he's booked a new role on the new horror drama series called Grotesquerie. Is that how you pronounce it?
I was thinking it was Grotesquerie.
Grotesquerie. Okay, I was trying to find a...
Say what network is...
Because I saw the...
Well, it's on FX. Okay, so I'll look at it here. I'm trying to get what it's about. And then his second TV job in recent months, he wrapped up production as the host of the new game show, Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity?
Is that made from the same people from Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And follow-up question, is a fifth grader smarter than a celebrity? Like, which one's more of an accomplishment?
I don't know. I think you're ready to go into that too.
I'm going with the fifth grader. I'm sorry.
We're bringing in second graders and said, do you know your geography better than Aaron Clark?
That's what we can have the second grade. Let's do it.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. And then finally, the call on 98 ESPN, Jalen Brunson, a three-point shot, put the Knicks ahead by 5. You know, the NBA's right when the Knicks are, and the NBA has been right in a long time, but they beat Indiana 130-121. They've got a 2-0 series lead over the Pacers now.
You're right, and kind of nice to have just the Knicks Pacers battling it out in the playoffs. It just kind of feels like those old 90s teams when Reggie Miller was leading Indiana and you had Patrick Ewing leading
John
the
Starks.
Knicks. Yeah, was it John Starks?
John Starks and Bruce Spike
He wasn't
Lee
a
in the-
basketball player. He was a thug.
No, he was not.
John
the
Starks?
shot.
Oh, man.
The shot. He was.
Woo!
So there you go. Sounds the past 24 hours or so here on the show today. All right. Great Bend Panther baseball yesterday needed to get a couple wins and ran into the 10th ranked team. The new final rankings finally came out today. So Great Bend stayed at number 10. Manhattan was number 10 in 6A. You were there in Manhattan. Where do they play?
Eisenhower Sports Complex. I believe it's next to Eisenhower Middle School. If I was
It's not over by the football field or anything?
Don't believe so. It was kind of over on, if I remember right, it's on Walters Drive.
You found it?
I did. I was actually able to find it, no problem. Was able to, I found it even before I left here, Googled it up, and then was finding it right
there
away.
you go.
Yeah. I got there plenty of time. Didn't have to go through a zoo to get there, and had a pretty decent first game. Panthers were close there. Couldn't quite get away. I believe the winning run came across for Manhattan on a pitch that was lost from a Panther catcher there behind home plate. Second game ended the same way, I believe, but not as close of a contest there. Great Bend in game 2 was with Manhattan the whole way, I believe, through the first 3 innings. It was a 6-4 lead for Manhattan, so still Panthers down, but not unreachable. Manhattan, though, 8 runs in the 4th inning to put them up 14-4 heading into the 5th. Great Bend would get 1 run in the top of the 5th to make it a 14-5 game. Manhattan, though, would answer that back pretty quickly there in the bottom of the 5th to win 15-5 in 5 innings.
Okay, so, but they will go on the road now. In the
They will.
regionals.
They'll be in.
Looks like maybe Andover Central.
I believe that's where they're going to end up. And it's not a terrible pull from them, from what I can gather from some of my pre-looks at who's going to be there with them. Still gotta win the games you got to play, but could still advance there to X Stadium for that state tournament.
Is Manhattan the worst case scenario for people like Clark? Because the streets changed name willy-nilly. I'm on Total. It says Total Creek Boulevard. Why am I on?
And the high school is up kind of close to a zoo, so that's.
It was tempting. I'll admit it was tempting to try to see if I couldn't find a zoo to go through, just to kind of be like, I did it 2 years in a row. I did it on purpose, but couldn't weasel that one into the.
I just want to see if you can get in the back gate.
You just gotta say I'm here for a baseball game, and apparently they think you're playing with the Tigers and the Cardinals or something.
All right, so other action gets underway tomorrow. The 3A Russell Regional for baseball. It will be Hoisington hosting Russell. Russell's 8-11. Hoisington is 11-9. Cole Rife will have that call for you tomorrow, starting about 5:45 on 100.7 Eagle Country. The winner of that game will play at 2 o'clock on Tuesday. Next Tuesday, they'll take on the winner of Goodland and Holcomb. Holcomb 17-5, Goodland 3-13. Bottom half the bracket, Southwestern Heights taking on Colby, and then Lakin plays Cimarron, and those two winners will play at 4 o'clock on Tuesday. The championship game will be at 6. Ellenwood opens play tomorrow in the 2-1A TMP Regional, and the Eagles will play at home. Roger Ward's Fighting Eagles, 11-11, hosting Hutch Trinity, who is 6-16. The winner of that game will play the winner of Bennington and TMP at 4 o'clock next Thursday. That's going to be Thursday, May 16th. The other teams in that regional, Little River playing Ellis in a play-in game tomorrow at Salina Sacred Heart. The winner of that game will get Salina Sacred Heart, and then El Saline will play Inman in the other action. 3A regional softball will start on Monday in Hoisington. Now, Hoisington, 18-6, will play Smoky Valley, 6-14. That'll be at 6 o'clock on the north field. The 4 o'clock north field game will have Beloit against Plainville. If Hoiston wins, they'd take on either Beloit or Plainville in the next game, semifinals. It would be on Tuesday, May 14th. That'd be a 4 o'clock start. The other teams, let's see, Ellsworth, 11-7, taking on Minneapolis, 14-8. That will be at 4 o'clock on the south field Monday. And then the 6 o'clock game, southeast of Saline, the number 1 seed, 19-3, taking on Russell. Ellenwood will open Monday in the 2-1A Sylvan Grove Regional. They will take on Ellis at 5:30 at Ellis. Then the solid home side, Salina Sacred Heart plays at El Saline, Bennington at Little River, Sylvan Lucas at TMP, and then Ellenwood at Ellis. And then they'll have the semifinals and championship game on Tuesday, May 14th in Sylvan Grove. There you go. Sounds the past 24 hours or so. Some sports headlines for you. Coming up, we're going to talk track and field with our KVGB Track and Field Insider, Mike Corson.
Oh.
Coming up next here on Sports Day. The By the Way is brought to you in part by Venture Corporation, reminding you to help a neighbor shop local when you can. Barton Cougar Booster Club continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country. And also Equity Bank, more than 40 locations throughout Kansas, including here in central Kansas with Great Bend, Larned, Maxville, and St. John. Find out more. Go to equitybank.com.
Today we're choosing instant finalist number 9 for the Tracks to the Max giveaway out at the UPS Store West Side Market. We're right across from Sutherland's on West 10th Street in Great Bend. With Mother's Day being this Sunday, have you thought of anything to get that special mom in your life? Well, UPS Store West Side Market has a great selection of very unique gifts. West Side Market is a unique boutique offering handcrafted items from local artists like jewelry, decor, mugs, beauty, and bath products, plus so much more. Also, if you're mailing anything to mom, the UPS store can ship it out for you and get you taken care of. They're here to make things fast and easy. Get on out today and check out what they have for Mother's Day. Plus, make sure you guys get yourself registered to be an instant finalist before 5 p.m. with Tracks to the Max, presented by Sutherland's Farmers Bank and Trust, Eldridge Fencing, and Ehlers Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Of course, this is all run by Sunflower Diversified Services. Come on by and find out more today. UPS Store West Side Market, West 10th Street in Great Bend.
Don't want to be tied down by a wireless contract? Get the service you deserve with NextTech Wireless Advance Pay. There's no contracts and no credit checks. Plus, you can get unlimited talk and text with 22 gigabytes of high-speed data for only $25 a month. Make the switch now and get a device on us. NextTech Wireless. Home on the range.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back. Sports Day brought to you today by Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. Get your life back. And the American Plains Co-op Bulk Fuel Department, your certified Cenex lubricant dealer in Great Bend. And Eller Automotive Repair, a local mechanic can help. They're located behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source. If you need a mechanic that you can call your mechanic, give Eller Automotive a call today. Okay, we're talking track today. I was never very good on the track. I mean, I could run hurdles when I was in 8th grade because I alternated and I had really good form. But then once I got into high school and I couldn't three-step the 120 highs, I became someone who would just throw the discus and get done and lay in the high jump pit and watch the rest of the meet. But if they would have had the three-legged race, I think that I could have competed because I had a pretty good three-legged race partner.
Yeah, I think I was undefeated in the three-legged race back when you got the little ribbons at the grade school. But, man, Sports in Kansas is pushing this, but the kids are earning it. There's a whole bunch of middle schoolers out there just doing ridiculous things. Eighth grade girls pole vaulting 12-1. Hess showed me the Holcomb eighth grader I think he blew out the field in the hurdles after the second hurdle.
I think it was an eighth grader running 110-meter hurdles and something like 13.
It was
So they're the 100 hurdles, aren't they? Yeah.
And so I don't know if they're up the extra inch.
What time was it? What did he run?
He was under 14.
Wait, okay.
13:98, I think, was the exact time.
Ooh. So, and I'll talk about, especially if they're the same height as the high school girls, you can at least baseline that. And there's only 2 girls in the state this year under 14. So this is an eighth grader, but you can always just kind of tell what they did to the rest of the field. So you're like, well, were those the slow kids? Because that race looked silly. Ellenwood's got little Eleanor Joyner's running times that would put her in like the top 5 in several classes as an eighth grader.
Why is this happening, Mike Corson?
And so somebody pointed out today, it's just kids are doing a whole lot more high-level activities growing up. And so that's where we brought up the three-legged races. I was good at the potato sack race and the three-legged race, neither of which prepares you to be a good 400
You
runner.
were a good potato sack racer?
I could jump. Yes. Yeah, it's all about keeping your feet together. Don't try to walk in it. It's just hop, hop, hop.
I'll tell you what's drumming up all the new young and upcoming track stars. Mike Corson's coverage of it. He's getting the word out about track. He's making it hip and popular to be a track athlete, and everyone wants to grow up and be, I want to be on Mike Corson's track ranking list.
Aaron, have you ever gone through the anxiety of waiting for a race to start?
No.
So you have never got in the blocks and
I think I was part of a...
I hated
And
that.
you don't know
I would worry about it all day. It was too stressful for me.
The whole point is it's kind of randomized, so sometimes the set is like 3 times longer than it should be. I'm like, especially when the track is scorching hot, I'm like, I bet those kids aren't happy.
I will counter with something that feels very similar, a silent count as an offensive lineman. Your quarterback, you don't know when the ball is going to be snapped, and you can't be looking at the ball because then that gives it away. You got to just have your corner of your eye peeking at the ball, and as soon as it
about
moves.
being in the starting blocks for a race.
Yeah, but it's similar. Firing off of there without knowing when you're going to go.
Grade school that you raced?
I guess I was never nervous because I always knew I wasn't going to win.
Okay.
It was never like, you only get nervous if you're like, oh, if I do bad, I'll lose. Even if I did good, I was going to lose. I was
the
never.
The other thing that you would have done is like being in kind of starting stance would be like on the goal line at the end of practice, right?
Exactly.
And then you probably weren't looking to just sprint out ahead of everybody else.
No, it was just get through. You know, you gotta do your best, run 2 yards past the line that they tell you to, that way you don't have to run it again.
Yeah, so at the old field days, you didn't have the blocks, so you didn't get to do the cool thing where you line up your fingers behind the line.
Yeah.
So you do the little handshake, maybe put some nail polish and sparkles on. Little 46-pound third grader, they're like, I'll never beat this kid. He runs like the wind.
You ever run? Did you guys have the shuttle relay at your field day?
Probably sounds familiar, but I specifically remember three-legged and potato sack. That was
Do you have a ribbon for that?
I don't think I lost a three-legged race.
Would you have a three-legged race ribbon that we can come in and put up on the wall?
It probably got tossed out.
Okay.
They weren't year-specific, maybe.
Hesh, were you a track star?
I was very good at Ring Around the Rosie. Or was it where you had to run and break through the line?
Red Rover.
Red Rover. That's what
I
it
was
Red
also
Rover.
very good at
Red Rover. I was pretty good at Red Rover.
Look out, the USS Bismarck is headed this way.
So
I guess it'd be the German Bismarck.
Yeah, exactly.
Hyper-competitive, good grip. Poor little girl going home to school with bruises all over her arm. What happened? Corson didn't want to let the kid through in Red Rover.
Were you late enough that they didn't let you play bombardment?
They barely let us play
phased
Red
that out
Rover.
because
By second grade, I think
Okay.
they phased Red Rover out.
Okay, because bombardment got too bad because it was always a girl with the glasses that got
What's bombardment? I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that one.
dodgeball.
Oh, okay,
basically,
there we go.
That was a competitive sport there, and and
duck, dive, ditch.
Dodge, dip, duck, dive, and dodge. The
Yep.
5 Ds of dodgeball.
And then you could catch it and then get the guy out of there. Okay, well, I think we've covered enough there. We're going to take another break, and then we'll be in rotation, and Mike Corson will be running down some of the top track performers. Can you tell it's May? We're
Two
down
more
to
weeks, man.
Two
Soak it
more
up.
weeks of school, man, right here on Sports Day.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Extend the life of your equipment with Cenex Premium Greases. Engineered with quality-based oils and well-balanced formulas to protect equipment in a wide range of temperatures and tough conditions. The Cenex line of grease products offer excellent rust protection, water resistance, and anti-wear properties to extend equipment life. Cenex Grease delivers the dependability you need to keep your operation running like a well-oiled machine.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Ryan, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB Great Bend and 95.5 FM K238CK Hoisington. Going strong since 2011, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Brought to you by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Yeah, Sports Day brought to you in part today by the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend and Next Tech Wireless. Experience wireless built by Kansans for Kansas. Hesh, what were you doing? Who were you employed by in 2011?
KSN.
Okay. What grade were you in?
4th? I'm pretty sure 4th.
And I was also doing Hoisington sports at the time as
Okay,
well.
all right. So you were in 4th grade. Okay. Corson?
I might have been sporting goods at Walmart, Steve. Just
I bet you were a good sporting goods dude, too.
kept that gun rack clean.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it.
Okay, so I was just going to kind of...
I like this because some of your favorite performances so far this year.
I'm actually a fan, too. So just as a reminder, because you can see a good race, and you don't know if it's a good race just because it was competitive, but when you see the times and you can compare them historically, which is the joy of track and field, then it becomes historically significant, and Carol Swinson is the one that does the historical list and the all-class list, whereas my rankings do the top 16 in each class with regional locations. So you can look in there and say, hey, I'm number 15 in Class 5A, but I'm number 1 in my regional. So the coaches like to see those regional locations. So last week talked about the pole vaulters, including Hoisington Sheldon May Farmer. Said she was the state leader at 12.0. I was wrong. The day before, so I hadn't made it to that meet yet, Smoky Valley's Brianne Peters goes up to 12.6. And then I think the next day, which would have been Friday, Farmer goes 12.6 also, and the Lehman girl from Heston goes 12 foot. So now you've got the 3 state leaders, and there's one other girl from 6A tied that are all in the Central Kansas League, and they'll all go head-to-head in 3A at state. So fantastic event, and just nuts to have them all in the same league. In 3A, leading the state.
But they're not in the same regional, though.
I believe they're in 2 different ones.
Okay,
So-
okay.
And they
But-
should
but
all get through.
They'd all get through anyway if they
Yeah.
were. Okay.
So probably my favorite race I've seen this year is up at the KU Relays. 100-meter hurdle, so that's girls. Shawnee Mission South senior Aurora Wessel. So I'm right at the finish line. She utterly crashed. It was nasty, one of the worst I've seen. She gets up, her back is starting to bleed. She looks across, sees her time as 13:92. Her hands go up to her face. She just walks off celebrating, basically. So it was the 6th fastest time ever in Kansas. That had to have hurt.
Was she just trying to lean too much at the finish line?
And maybe clip the last hurdle a little bit, but
and still ran 13:9 too.
So it must have been. It could have been the lean actually, because there's no way she would have
hit that
fallen.
hurdle and still go break 14. Wow.
So Wichita Northwest senior Adriana Shelby was in the same race, and she was like top 14 of all time, and Wessel won it head to head. But then Shelby came out last week, ran a 13:66, number 2 all time in Kansas. So you've got 2 girls in 6A under 14 seconds, no other girl under 15 seconds, but you've got 2 top 6 all-timers headed towards state. So that will be one of the marquee events in Wichita. And then just to throw it in there, Kinsey Premer was the 3-time runner-up coming into this year. What do you know? She caught the bad break last year with the Hutch hurdler. The girl moved up from 3A to May South this year. That girl is 4th behind these 2 and another girl. So 4th all class for Ashley Singate. Another great event to KU Relays, because we've seen Caitlin Roops run several times at the cross-country course and at things like the Jack Bowman Invite. But the little girl sophomore from Topeka Seaman, soccer convert, she's now top 4 all-time in Kansas in the 800, the 1600, and the 3200. I believe she's number 3 in the 3200, and she helped push Roop to the number 6 of all time in the 3200. So it was a great race getting to see those guys go head-to-head on the same track. One of the biggest stories coming in, obviously, was what's the 8th grader from Rock Creek going to do, formerly of Northwest Kansas. So even though she's not technically running for Rock Creek High School, she would have been a 4A kid. Swinson still puts her in the list because she is a legitimate Kansas high schooler, and she's number 1 in both the 100 and 200 all-time.
Wow.
So we won't get to see her at state, but did get to see her run at Fort Hays, and I think at least one of those times I got to see, though it was windy. Haven't got to see Clay Shively run this year, but somebody was trying to debate me and say he broke Jim Ryan's record. Which record was that? He's never run under 4 minutes a mile. So he did go number 1 in the 3200 this year, but it was a different guy. So my buddy Colby Sullivan, who was on the Great Bend school record 4x8 team, didn't know that Clay was number 1, sends me a picture this weekend from Shawnee Mission South and says, check out this score, check out this time. And I said, oh, yeah, that must be the guy Shively beat. And he thought that was amusing, that Shively can also run the 3200 like that. And so, it's keeping kind of with Shively just because
8:41 in the 32.
it's keeping up a pace. So, if you missed it, he just ran. He went out to New York City to try to get that sub-4 mile. So he's going against some of the nation's other best. Basically ran 61-second quarters and finished in 4:04. But it was pretty spot on 61-second quarters. Boys 4x8. So Shively and his gang at Wichita Trinity went number 2 all time this year at 7:44. There's only 5 teams under 8 minutes in all of Kansas this year, but 2 of them are in 3A. But to me, the more impressive story than Wichita Trinity is what Holcomb is doing. And I think we talked a little bit about that last week they've got, I think, 3 of the top 5 800 kids in Class 3A. So they strung that together and popped off one of the great 4x8s in the state this year. And had talked about what I saw in Iowa, that Iowa girls going 9:01 in the 4x8 setting a state record. At the time, I think Kansas's best was like 9:35. Olathe West took a second off their state record set last year, the year before, and ran a 9:02. So good to see Kansas is competitive there, and good to see that they're 6A. So Great Bend is number 6 all class, and they did that without kind of all 4 of maybe the A team. So there's plenty of room to cut off several seconds there. So they've already set the school record at 9:36. Expect that to fall heavily in the next couple weeks. Also at the KU Relays, it's always cool to see one of your top performers. So we get tired of talking about Capon sometimes, but it's impressive when it's impressive. Jack Guthridge, he's just a junior. He's number 1 in Kansas this spring in the 200 and the 400, and he's number 3 in the 100 by like 0.03 of a second. And so his 400 time at KU was the 8th best of all time in Kansas. And kind of finally here, just because it happened here at the Jack Bowman invite, always cool to see a state leader. So Lakin Jr. Coulter Oldham throws the shot put. I think it was 58 and changed at that meet. 3A is always loaded in the throws. I believe it's your toughest classification, which is nuts. But he's now up to a 15-inch lead in that loaded Class 3A at 59.9, but still not on an all-time list.
How far do you throw the shot put in your
Not that far.
heavyweight man days?
Definitely not that far. I don't even remember.
Did you go out for track?
On my junior year.
Okay.
It was a 1 year thing, and my form was terrible. It was all just the fact that I was a big hulking mass of 330 pounds. I don't think I broke 50 though, to be honest with you.
This is next on our list. We just had Cooper Oman in. He's going 46, and he, by his own admission, doesn't quite know what he's doing yet. So I got to go throw the javelin last year, was disappointed, but we can do the non-running events, Aaron. We need to try a triple jump and maybe a shot put.
My knees might not hold up to a triple jump, but we'll have to see. We'll see if we can't avoid some Derrick Rose-ness in the knees and get some good leaps in.
The danger with the triple jump, if I don't know what I'm doing, is I'm not going to hit the sand. I'm going to plant it right on the
You'll
track.
end up like that one gal.
You
Less
fall on your
graceful.
Side. Yeah, it's not good. All right, thanks, Mikey. Good stuff. Track and field here on a Thursday on Sports Day. We'll check in, ask Gerard about the latest closings in Hayes, I guess. The bookstore, a tradition at Fort Hays State. What is that, the corner of Lewis? And nah, it's not Lewis. It'd be like
7th and 4th,
Street. Yep.
maybe?
Yeah.
That's Fort. Well, I was thinking, yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll get an update coming up next on Sports Day.
Get ahead or catch up this summer with Barton Online. With 5 convenient sessions to choose from, Barton Online is the perfect fit for your summer goals and budget. At just $155 per credit hour, it's an affordable option for everyone. Financial aid options are available for qualifying students. Now enrolling for all sessions. Get started on your future today. Learn more at online.bartoncccc.edu.
Central Kansas Catbackers, this is Wyatt Thompson. The Wildcats are coming to Great Bend's Columbus Club at 723 Main Street, Tuesday, May 14th. The doors open at 11:15. The program begins at noon. Our program features football coach Chris Kleiman, basketball assistants Marco Bourne and Anthony Winchester, K-State Alumni Association President Adam Walker, student athletes, the K-State cheer team, and Willie the Wildcat. RSVP to Central Kansas Catbackers Lunch and RSVP. Don't miss the Wildcats in Great Bend, Tuesday, May 14th at noon. Go Cats!
Are you a Class A CDL driver looking for a new opportunity? Venture Corporation is looking to hire several current valid Class A CDL drivers. And here are some great facts about driving for Venture Corporation that you will definitely enjoy. Higher pay, even higher pay if you have a hazmat endorsement. You'll be driving nice trucks, have more flexible hours, home most nights, and seldom any weekend work. Ready to team up with a homegrown, family-owned, and local company? Don't wait. Call Leslie at Venture Corporation today.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Amy Herrera, Regional Retail Manager for your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many people navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you how we're committed to serving you in our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
He's been the voice of the Tigers for over 20 years, much longer than Wyatt Thompson, Steve Webster, and the legendary Bob Davis. And he's not even that old yet. Here's Gerard Wellbrock.
Getting older by the day, though. Gerard Wellbrock, voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers, joining us today on a Thursday. You've been very flexible this year, Gerard. I'd want you to know how much that we appreciate that when we have Royals games on Thursdays or Wednesdays, and you're always there for us. I appreciate that.
Well, that's how much I want to be a part of your program.
Yeah, so I like that. Okay, this is kind of the top line discussions that we've been having on the program today. Okay.
Okay.
So Hesh was all concerned about this, even though I don't know why, because it's a bookstore associated with a university. I don't know why he ever would have gone in there. But is it like a legendary bookstore on the corner down there?
Yeah, the one across the street's closing. I think it's, what's it called? The Tiger Bookstore, maybe?
Okay, all right. That would be a good guess.
Yeah, it's been there forever. I mean, it was there when I went to school. Yeah. I was there when my father-in-law went to school. So I think it's had different owners over the years, but
okay,
no more after this year.
I think it hurt me more when they cut down because the red coat's gone, right? I mean, that's been gone for like
that was
2 decades, right?
That's been gone a while.
Okay,
it's now Chuck's. It's a bar now, but I miss the red coat. That was really good.
The red coat and Bijou.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Now Chuck's is the bar downstairs, and I think they used to have a restaurant where Red Coat used to be, but it's closed too. It's part of I'd be part of the bar now too. I don't know. It's not quite my scene anymore.
Okay, all right. I was just wondering. So Chuck's is that Chuck Bisbee who played?
I don't believe so, but yeah,
right.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Gosh. All right, Ger. What's going on with baseball and softball? Are we done? I mean, what's
They're done. Yeah, they're done. Yeah.
Okay.
They both made the conference tournament, but or eliminated from the conference tournament last weekend.
Tell me about the baseball program. How are we doing there?
Getting better. 25 wins. What was it? 4 2 years ago. Went from 4 to 20 last year. Just missed the tournament. Got in this year with 25, and quite honestly, I know they felt they left some on the table. This could have been a 30-win team, which would have been a great next step. They had about a 3-week stretch in March where they just did not play well and let a few games get away. And then by the end of the year, we're playing as well as anybody in the conference. But that hurt their seed. They got the 8th seed and had to go to Central Missouri, who's ranked 2nd in the country, and gave them a good game in the first, because the MIAA's postseason format for baseball is it's a 2-weekend deal. The first weekend is best of 3 series. Yep. One hosts 8, and then the winner of the series then go to a 14 double elimination, which is getting underway today in Pittsburgh, and they're the host site for that they predetermined before the year. But getting in was big, and they lost 5-3. We're right there in that first game, and then it was close in game 2, and they ended up losing 14-4. They were down 5-4, had an early lead, and Central's just too good. And I mean, legitimately, Fort Hays State needs a few more arms, especially in the back end of the bullpen, to help them. Whether that's bring some guys in or just develop some of the guys on the roster. But they made a great stride, and honestly, they weren't the 8th seed. They were playing much better than an 8th seed, but that's the lot they had. But I think they feel good. They have pretty much everybody back. And the goal is to, start where we left off, and let's build from there. And they feel they can get over 30 next year, and, you put together a little run. Who knows? You get up to 35, 38, you have a chance to get into the NCAA possibly. So they're on the right track, certainly.
Gerard Walbrock with us, voice the Fort Hays State Tigers. We've seen a lot of building with athletic facilities and things like that in the last 30 years at Fort Hays State.
Yeah.
So what's next? I mean, is there a next
question? And it's funny. I have not sat down with Curtis Hameke and asked him that yet. And he's getting. I mean, I don't know when he's going to retire, but he's getting closer.
Yeah, how about that?
So I don't know if that's going to be next for him or next for the next guy. I mean, for me personally, obviously, the football locker room's huge. They have to have that. I think I say remodeling, but Lewis Field needs to be upgraded, more modernized. It's a great facility, love the atmosphere, but it's old. And this locker room's the first step in that, because you move that out, you've got more things you can use underneath. Now you have more space. I know the next thing is basically the old training room is going to become women's restrooms. They don't have enough. And so that's going to dramatically increase the restroom space on the East Stadium. They already did that on the west side last year. So those are big improvements, but it just needs to be more modernized. And how long that takes, and I haven't seen anything specific, but I know those are areas they're going to be doing. To me, potential basketball practice facility would be something I would think would be on a master plan. they have the back gyms at Cunningham, but they're not full regulation length. Something that, you cross over with volleyball season and other stuff, just to have your own practice. Even if it's just one team can be on the floor, one can be in the main arena, one can be there, because you still work the practices around weird times and different things that would always be available. That would be something. And then, honestly, do you build a baseball facility? I know it's been talked about for 25 or more years. I don't know if that'll ever happen. Larks Park is obviously a great setting, but it's owned by the city, so you're limited on some of the things you can do. I don't know if that's something that's feasible. I would think you could build something somewhat economical, but I don't know if that's something that's going to be done anytime in the near future. But those would be the things, if you ask me, would be next on the list. You did ask me, so there you go.
Okay, so that was very good. Well, and you mentioned Curtis Hammocky, the pride of Great Bend, Kansas.
Yeah.
It's really hard to think. Then I start to think, he's thinking about retiring. And then I think, well, yeah, I'm old too. So
yeah.
You've been there through the whole reign of Curtis, right? Or the era?
Yeah, I have.
Describe about what has happened since Curtis has been there, and what's Curtis Hammocky's legacy at Fort Hays State?
Well, Tom Spicer did a good job in facilities, and I think Curtis has taken that to the next level. Obviously, transitioning to the MIAA would probably be the biggest thing, and then once you're there, you realize what a beast it is.
Yeah,
and then you have the facilities. I mean, the indoor, which is amazing. You look around the league now, and we're in Warrensburg for baseball, and they've got a plan to basically build what Washburn has, indoor track with a indoor football adjacent to it. I mean, they're the Texas of the MIAA when they get that. But just, I mean, and at the time, Fort Hays was a front runner in that, and now, they were landlocked, but it's only 65 yards in total. Everybody else is building full 100 yards. So it was a necessity, but it's not what other places are doing, and it's hard to keep up. And you go to Warrensburg and you see their baseball facility. Robert Crane, who owns the Astros, it's his name on it, so they get everything they need. They got a great clubhouse. So, it becomes an arms war, as we said, and just, to try to keep up with everybody. And that's always going to be a challenge when you're in the MIAA, because for Division II, they're pretty fortunate. But, you can't win without all those things. But that's always, you try to do your best to keep pace. And I think Curtis has done a really good job of doing that without the resources of maybe what Central Missouri or even a Pittsburgh State and some of these other places have. He's done a remarkable job, and the scholarships and just the challenges with COVID and all the things that have gone on since he's taken over. He's done a great job of navigating those waters and keeping Fort Hays State in a position to compete for championships. And I think it's not as easy as it maybe appears at times. What football has done, hiring Chris Brown, maybe the best hire, in 25, 30 years, and what he's done for the football program.
Well, Gerard, awesome stuff. Appreciate the kind words about Curtis. It wouldn't have gone over well here. So,
I love Curtis. He is awesome.
How about a guy? Yeah, how about an AD to work with? How about
he's pretty cool.
All right. We're closing in on the end of semester, so you're still on for next week, okay?
That works for me.
Hey, Gerard. I don't think I've called you Gerard in a long time.
No, you haven't.
Okay. All right, Gerard Welbrock with us here on Sports Day.
Get ahead or catch up this summer with Barton Online. With 5 convenient sessions to choose from, Barton Online is the perfect fit for your summer goals and budget. At just $155 per credit hour, it's an affordable option for everyone. Financial aid options are available for qualifying students. Now enrolling for all sessions. Get started on your future today. Learn more at online.bartoncccc.edu.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
Hi, my name is Dalton Jones, a patient that I helped. She came in with chronic back pain that she'd been having for years. After several weeks of showing her exercises, several different interventions, we were able to get her back to where she can do her shopping without leaning on the shopping cart at all.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Back on Sports Day. Tomorrow we're going to be loaded. On the show, Chase High School has a young man who qualified for the state golf tournament next week, Layden Hinderleiter. And he is going to be in studio tomorrow to talk about that experience and trying to battle cancer. So a heck of a young man, and we're going to get to meet him tomorrow. Randy Beck's going to be in with some Panther baseballers tomorrow on the show, and then Connor Nickel will be on. We'll talk about regional baseball and softball. It gets going in earnest tomorrow with 3A and 2-1A baseball tournaments. And some softball or some baseball got underway earlier this week. But anyway, so those are getting going. Some other headlines from today. This was interesting. Let me see. All right. And I've talked about this for a long time, okay? So schools now are hiring basically capologists, right? So Michigan became the 18th school to hire an NIL general manager in a partnership with Altia Sports Partners. It'll give the company more than $250,000 a year. Michigan athletic director Ward Manuel says it's the right time to bring in a company that has 3 years to develop strategies and NIL connections.
I think it's a good idea for universities to do it.
Yeah.
Just kind of have someone who is going to know the ins and outs of that stuff. They're going to know how to manage the money that you are getting for NIL or that the universities can give out. And just kind of like you said, kind of have a capologist like, hey, you may not be able to give that quarterback that much money. You still got so-and-so on the cap for this much. You got to make sure he has this much next year.
Well, it's all this they call it name, image, and likeness. They're just paying them, right? I mean, it's for most of it. So you're going to have to start writing these contracts up, right? Okay. If we're going to a bowl game, you're going to be playing in it.
And that's
you can't sit out.
I believe that is actually being negotiated right now too. I don't know if college players have a players union like that or not. Like the NFL has the NFLPA, the NFL Players Association.
Well, you got to have some agreement. We're going to give you like $2 million to play this season, and then you get to the end and say, well, I don't want to play in the bowl game. We thought that we were paying you for the whole season.
You're not getting that game check, that game bonus anymore.
Out of hand.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Smart for universities, though, to try to get ahead with it with specialists to make sure they have that edge if that's the way the college landscape is headed.
Yeah, you get tutors, you get free school, you get financial advisors, and you get tax help. Great to be
it's a deal.
Good at college athletics. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Great show coming up, 12:30. See you.